William James was an American thinker who you've come across before in our AS work on mysticism. He has often been accused of advocating that people hold irrational beliefs simply because we have the will to believe them. He later claimed that he wished he had called his work The Right to Believe. This is because he wanted to show that there are circumstances under which we are justified in having beliefs that are not upheld by reason. This does include religious belief. As a voluntarist, James argues that we can choose to believe, since there is no conclusive evidence that can ever arrive to support religious faith. Thus faith cannot be a matter of intellect, but instead a simple decision that must be taken. Either way, we risk error in the decision to believe or not. However, we risk a loss of truth by failing to decide in some situations because we are frightened to be wrong. By and large, James agreed that belief should be held on rational grounds, and in fact all belief should be tested for practical use. It is true that for James all beliefs that do not have any practical value should be disregarded, but whatever beliefs that I need to hold for practical reasons in this life, that cannot be supported or disregarded using evidence, I should be able to hold. In order for an option to believe to be genuine, James claimed that there were 3 criteria that must be met. In this case, the decisions should be live. By this he meant that it is a real decision, one that I can make. For example, it is a live option that I should choose between having tea or wine to drink. It is not a live option that I choose to live on Venus. A decision should also be forced. By this he means a decision that must be made. I'm not forced to choose between drinking tea and wine, but I am forced to decide whether to have a drink now at all. I cannot refrain from deciding. To do so is to decide not to have a drink. The decision should be finally momentous. By this he means life-changing. It is not momentous whether I choose to drink. It is if I choose to believe in God, as it will affect my other beliefs, my behaviour and practice from now on. So a decision that can be made without rational basis must be one which fits all of these criteria. If it does, then a faith decision is justified. In such an instance, we must be guided not by reason, but instead by our passional nature. By this he means our feelings, our instincts, our gut feeling or passion. We are justified in making a decision on this basis because reason and evidence cannot tell us to believe or not believe. We must decide based on what fits best with our hopes and fears and desires. In terms of pragmatism, whilst religious belief does not come from empirical means, we can get confirmation of the religious belief. This is because we can see the positive effect of religion on a person's life. This proves the religious belief to be pragmatic. Even if there is an element of doubt in my decision, it is still passional. Being doubtful is still more pragmatic than not believing, but not as pragmatic as believing. There is still satisfaction to be gained in the present for the believer, since belief in the afterlife will give hope and affect behaviour now, whereas the atheist or agnostic does not gain satisfaction from not believing. In fact, to go even further, we can say that if I believe, then I help to create the fact. If I don't believe, there will be no positive outcome, but if I do, this may contribute to the success of the belief. James says faith is something concerning which doubt is still theoretically possible. And as the test of belief is willingness to act, one may say faith is the readiness to act in a cause, the prosperous issue of which is not certified to us in advance.